The Regressed Mercenary has a plan. Chapter 1. He know that name very well. This is unstoppable. A swordmaster stuck in his room, a man out of his mind. Count Perdium's eldest son, Ghislaine Perdium, was useless. Ghislaine had a man who said he was the strongest knight in the north. But it was defeated to the garbage human being. Pretty warm and cozy, right? He put a lot of money into making that trap. Is this good? And angrily he called it garbage. A trap? And Ghislaine knew his plan beforehand. Not just that, it also knows there are many spies and helped him to reinforcements. He knew it all from the beginning. How did that happen? He always had a hidden ace card. He couldn't believe that Ghislaine had done this because they thought it was useless men and suddenly kicked him in the face. He tried the raid as many times as it wants. Ghislaine says he will win the war next time, and every time, because he knows all the plans. A year ago in the kingdom of Luthania near the Perdium estate, he woke up and while he was looked at his hand, he realized that he was still alive, cutting off his head. He couldn't believe it because he remembered the fight that ended in his defeat. When their fight is over, Ghislaine Perdium, the mercenary king and one of the continent's 7 strongest men, the war is over. One of the continent's top 7 noble knight Idun, what was the last thing said? And it has nothing more to say because it did not fulfill the revenge. Meanwhile, he wants to kill her, but it can't do anything because it can't fight anymore. It couldn't believe that this was the eldest son of the fallen Perdium household, though. He said after the death of his sister, he left their family. It's from another kingdom, but he knows that. He worked on tracking Ghislaine for a long time, so he knows it. Because they worked in the Delphine household to make his family bring down. Ghislaine wants to know if there is anyone else behind this besides Duke Delphine. He didn't want to tell Ghislaine about this because he was going to die. And Ghislaine shouted angrily he will never forgive him. But it quickly ended it. He decapitated those moments that he remembered. He couldn't believe that her head was still attached to him. He looked at his face in the water. He saw that his face was younger. It thinks he was captured and used as a lab rat for magicians or something. And suddenly a young master called outside. Ricardo the Perdium soldier entered because he knew Ghislaine was awake. Ghislaine took the sword and aimed it at his neck. And he wants him to answer his questions if he still wants to live. He was surprised by Ghislaine's attack on him. Ghislaine could not understand what was happening. He pushed him and said that he threw a tantrum and fell asleep due to self-exhaustion. He was shocked by what he found out. It's like forgetting after taking a nap. It throws a tantrum about how it will command the group to attack the orcs. The orcs, tantrum annoyed, said Ghislaine. Ricardo asked Ghislaine to get stuff because many people were waiting here so that they can return to the Perdium state. Ghislaine was shocked to learn that they were going back to the Perdium state. He confirmed this to Ricardo because when Ghislaine found out it had already fallen, and he saw the Perdium standing well, he was surprised because he saw that it was ashes. Ricardo asks him if he had a terrible nightmare or something. Thus it was said that his own household had fallen, and Ghislaine might get kicked out if anyone hears this. He squeezed his cheek because he thought he was dreaming. It hurt and he thought he wasn't dreaming. A younger face, the estate in its original state. He thinks he has traveled back in the past. His childhood past was brought back to the household. The immaturity born from feeling inferior led to trouble. And as time passed, more people from the household avoided him. He can no longer handle the criticisms and run away from the home. A few years later, he became a mercenary. He survived many battles, his skill was built up, and he made a name popular. He returned to the country of Perdium to make up for his mistakes. But when he returned to the household, it was already ashes. Lost everything, but it's still all here. And all the people close to him are here. He couldn't believe it, and it wants to sing a song of joy. But it's too early for him to be rejoice. And he can't forget that day, and that day many people died because of the attack of the orcs. And in his previous life, he followed the orc raid squad in an attempt to make a name for him. At that time, the report had said there were only 3 orcs. He thought that would be easy enough for someone like him, who had no experience commanding a squad. But when he got there, there were more than 20 orcs. Almost all of them died from his stubbornness, and it wanted to lead the squad. And they think they can defeat the orcs because they don't have a strategy. The problem is if they trust him because they all think he's a useless bastard. And Ghislaine was shocked when the archer tower suddenly fell. The guards saw that they were being attacked by orcs. The guards immediately blocked it and were ready to fight. And Ghislaine is thinking if these also arrived that quickly in his past. Due to the attack of the orcs, the people are gradually falling down. Someone shouted to get into formation. Don't panic, the raid squad commander Scoven ordered the guard to defense formation. The raid commander is ready to fight the orcs, but they let our guard ambush even though they weren't prepared at all, and it's more than what was reported. And they all seem to die. Ghislaine warns the commander. The orcs are behind it and they are trying to attack him. And when he looks behind him, the orcs are there. While he was looking at the orcs, Ghislaine grabbed him by the shoulder to throw him. And when he threw it, Ghislaine quickly attacked the orcs. The raid commander is shocked by Ghislaine's actions. The young master, he fought against the orcs. The orcs hit in the hand by Ghislaine's sword. His hand was cut off. The commander and the guards were shocked by the result of Ghislaine's attack. The orcs stripped of their hand fall in front of Ghislaine. And it seems that he can't use the mana, and he wished it would go back to the past earlier. He approached the commander and called him this young master. And this reached for her hand. The commander apologized. And Ghislaine called it commander. The Regressed Mercenary has a plan. Chapter 2. Ghislaine want to know the right command. He knew Ghislaine was an idiot, but to ask for the right to command when their soldiers' lives were on the line. But the commander cannot fulfill what is being asked. This is not a game. Even though this is their young master, he cannot give up the authority given to him by the Lord so easily. It annoyed the commander, although it would have reacted the same way if someone approached him as an idiot and asked for the right to command, and suddenly the orc attacked them. The commander called Ghislaine back and he said he would take care of this, because it seems that this one still lacks the experience to lead the troops. He seems to have no choice. And suddenly Ghislaine threw his sword that passed by the commander. The commander asked angrily what he was doing, and it looked at the orc. Ghislaine's sword is already stabbed into the orc's head. The orc fell in front of them. This was shocked because Ghislaine hit the orc in the weak spot. He called her Scoven, and he asked her if he knew the most important thing in the battle. And the orcs were shouting at what happened, and the guards were scared. They believe they no longer have any hope of winning the battle. They're trying to get the momentum. Ghislaine suddenly attacks the orc. It suddenly jumps into the middle of the fighting orcs and guards. And when it fell, it stabbed an orc in the head. The guards were shocked by what was done. Even their commander was shocked by what happened. He was challenged to be attacked by the orcs. While he was stepping on the head of an orc, he said he would kill them all. He was not afraid to attack the orcs. Because of this attack, the orcs are falling one by one. The commander was shocked by what he was seeing. It seems that even if he is a mana user, he will have a hard time doing this. But the skinny young master is able to do this. He thinks he's already tired to this battle. However, he's using the smallest of movement to dodge attacks, and using his swordsmanship to strike at their weak spots, like a Manhwa sword master. Or perhaps even something greater. Meanwhile, Ghislaine still not warmed up. It doesn't come from the reputation of the warrior species. All orcs attacked Ghislaine. Ricardo shocked because all the orcs are attacking Ghislaine. The commander can't understand what Ghislaine is doing. He running into the group of orcs and drawing their attention was good. But now running away and in that direction is the edge of a cliff. This made he think because Ghislaine was running to the edge. He gave command to the troops to raise the shield wall. They follow the first son. The orcs are chasing Ghislaine. And it is certain that its Skoven is an experienced commander. He already knows his plan. Even though it prefers to slice all the ockers, its stamina can no longer handle it. But even then, he thinks his plan is enough to defeat the orcs. And he was indeed attacked by orcs near the cliff. The orcs looked at the back. The Skoven and Ricardo and the guards are ahead of the orcs as they raise their defense so they can push them into the cliff. And Ghislaine smiled at the formation they made. And when the orcs were near him, he suddenly jumped into the cliff. As it was falling, he gave a signal to start the attack on the orcs. And their Skoven ordered to push the orcs into the cliff. They did it with Skoven, Richard, and the troops. Because of their cooperation, they successfully pushed the orcs into the ravine. All the orcs were falling into the cliff, and because of its height, they all died from the fall. The guards were relieved because they managed to kill the orcs. Skoven looked up at the cliff to see if Ghislaine had fallen with him. It saw Ghislaine holding his sword that was stuck in the side of the cliff. Ghislaine smiled at the moment. Skoven was surprised and delighted by what he saw. And then Skoven reached out his hand to Ghislaine to help him climb up. But it could no longer reach Skoven's hand, and because of fatigue it can't stand the hanging anymore. And they were shocked because Ghislaine had let go of his sword and was falling into the cliff. Skoven and Ricardo and the troops were shocked by what happened. Meanwhile, Ghislaine heard someone calling him Appa, and it reminded him of Elena, and that he remembers, her mother is gone now. There is something wrong at this moment. He the worst. He looked at his hand. These are his memories of Elena. Suddenly, someone grabbed his arm and called him Appa. This one is crying, saying that they left together. And suddenly, Ghislaine opened his eyes with a towel on his head. He is indeed already inside a room. He looked at his palm and thought he was alive, and they managed to save him. This wonders if it is just a dream. Suddenly, he felt a pain in his body. It is believed that it is because of the use of his body that he reached the limit. He thinks it's okay. It's easier for him to know now that he is still alive. Suddenly, someone entered his room. She was glad that Ghislaine is awake. She is Belinda, and she indeed said that she is worried. She said that he should have just allowed the soldiers to fight the orcs. She was suddenly embraced by Ghislaine. He was surprised by Ghislaine's embrace. He just glad to see Belinda. Belinda is her personal tutor. Since its childhood, she was the only one who continued to stay by its side, despite him idiotic antics. And since their family fell to ruins, she went missing. He has not been able to see it again. He never thought him to see her like this. It will always be happy if he sees it every day. He need to tell Belinda the truth. Ghislaine wants Belinda to listen to him properly. He was shocked by what Ghislaine said about an approaching catastrophe in Perduum. The truth is, he said that he died and came back to life, as he knew that Ghislaine almost died because of the orcs. Belinda knows is that Perduum is the most dangerous, but that's not what Ghislaine means. He doesn't believe in him and he thinks it won't work. Belinda asked Ghislaine what he would do because he was so hurt and might not be able to go to the festival. And he thought about the festival. Lady Elena has long been waiting for the day she will be with Ghislaine at the festival. It would have been a big chance for them to become close to each other again. There was a festival that always happened around this time of the year. In his past life, he didn't have time to enjoy the festivals because of his traumatic experience. It wants to know how many more days until the festival. And Belinda said that there is only 1 week left before the festival. A week, the day that changed his life. Someone opened the door and called him Auber. The memory that continues to haunt him. Crying young girl want to go with him. 1 week later, Elena will die. The Regressed Mercenary has a plan. Chapter 3. When Elena entered her room, he immediately embraced it. Belinda was surprised. What's wrong with him? What kind of prank is this? He missed him. And she pushed Ghislaine. She was worried about Ghislaine doing. Ghislaine was surprised by his strength and wondered if she had ever been so strong. Belinda asked him, what game are he playing? What allows him? He told him to piss off because she annoying. Just feeling she breath feels disgusting. He forgot after saying all that. What did he say? He wasn't the closest with Elena in his past life. He apologized first really. She heard that an orc was fighting. She think Ghislaine hit at the head. It did say that all orcs died because of him. So why is it being said that he was hurt in the fight and suddenly felt pain in his body? Elena know it was right totally it got them to the state, but it came back unconscious. What is happening now? Belinda and Elena smiled at him while he was kneeling in the pain he was feeling. Ghislaine smiled as he remembered all of them. Did the past him waste so much time on useless things? In the festival that comes next week, he rejected Elena's offer to go together, making his excuse that the event from the raid squad made him upset. That was the last time he saw her. Elena's body was then found shredded to pieces along with her bodyguards. He should have been with her. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. When the door opens, it is Elena's two bodyguards. She asked if something happened because she told them to wait outside. Apologies, the servants asked him to oversee their work on the festival supplies. Meanwhile, Ghislaine wondered why he was asking Elena. Ghislaine will not be able to understand this because it is always lays around all day. She wondered why there's such a shortage of workers in Perdium that even the young lady needs to work. Elena is leaving and she is taking care of Ghislaine. She didn't care about these things back then, so it's obvious that she don't know. He wants to help this. Elena glanced at her. He volunteered to help? Did he really get hit in the head? In the town of Perdium, he shouted that he wanted to help. And the people heard it outside. People will be too scared to work with him around. Is this how they treat someone who wants to help? But Elena suddenly slapped him in the face. Ghislaine thought Elena's body was found near the slums, far from the festival grounds. Someone must have called her out there or forcibly moved her there. To avoid that, he first needs to know the ins and outs of the castle. And suddenly a guard arrived and called Ghislaine. When he looks at it, is the old man Fergus. He was happy because Ghislaine was doing well. This lowly servant of him, Fergus, made his way over to him as soon as Fergus heard of the news with the orcs. Fergus came closer, while crying because of the news he heard about the orc. And he doesn't want to talk about what happened. Great timing, old man. He's acting weird right after just waking up. Take him back to his room. This damn hooligan image is blocking him again. This will not be helped. He will know better what is happening around the castle next week. Ghislaine wants the old man to take him away from the abandoned training field. And the old man wanted to know why he wanted to go there for training. The old man didn't say anything. Here's the road. Ghislaine followed. When they entered, it was much better condition than he expected. It's a perfectly suitable location for him to train. He never saw anything like this as a mercenary. They have been maintained to make good use of the facilities. The old man is sure that what Ghislaine is going through is just a phase. Ghislaine thinks about his past life. He did also, so that's what happened. He told this to the old man. He need to live a long life. Ghislaine's acting is like he experienced dying. As expected, he sharp. Ghislaine said he died and was resurrected. This perspective is just nonsense, according to what Ghislaine is saying. He brought the old man back so that he could be training now. And it just wants to wait outside. He always treated everyone around he like them enemies, but he was just short-sighted. Just 1 week left. Back then, it was revealed that the one behind Elena's death was a lord from a neighboring territory. The Perdium got caught up in a war that led to its downfall. Elena's death was the start of the downfall of their house. That means he need to set things straight from here. First things first, he need to get a better physique. This is frustrating because he don't have a lot of time left. But he should at least be able to control mana. Mana is a supernatural resource that allows humans to break through their limits. Most people say that noticing and taking in the mana is the hardest part. But he was able to do that, even on the chaotic battlefield. He have to connect the mana particles floating in the air and bundle it up as if it were spinning like a spool. For a person like him, who have not much experience in battles, creating a mana core is a piece of cake. But if it was just that, he couldn't have been part of the strongest 7 of the land. With the method from that half-burned book on magic that he picked up and the natural mana core of humans, he can create a second and even a third, creating a connected mesh of multiple cores to create an explosive force. He stopped and his nose bleeding to reach his limit, even though he was able to reach 5 in his past life. This method allows one to create an explosive force in a short time, but it also requires an extremely large amount of mana in return. This was the primary reason he lost to Idun in his past life, bringing a whole night order to fight against him when he had run out of mana. He definitely would have won if it was a fair fight. It is inherently an unstable technique, but this is enough for now. He have a youthful body and a lot of time now. It thinks that at this time, he will take Idun's head. Even those bastards staying behind House Delphine, who helped to destroy their country, he will destroy all. 1 week later, the day of the festival, Ghislaine wore his fighting equipment. To prepare her for the upcoming fight, Elena saw her at the festival and he was approached by it. She was happy about Ghislaine's arrival. It's just that this is the first time he has attended something like this. As a Perdium, he should at least come to festivals every once in a while. Elena said that its behavior has been unusual recently. It was heard that Ghislaine did nothing but train for the past week. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with his training because he comes from a family of knights. He didn't care about these kinds of things before. He were the one who said Dad was annoying and that her wish he were the Lord already. Meanwhile, she liked the way things are now. It seems like the old her is back. He realized something in the past week because his actions have changed. Her reception and the future are also slowly beginning to change. Belinda is keeping an eye on Ghislaine's movements with 2 guards to see if he will cause trouble. They can't afford to have problems, especially with a lot of visitors. The 2 guards told him not to worry because they were trustworthy. The general flow of things might be the same, but it is difficult to measure the impact of his actions on small events. Making good use of the information from the future is his job. He needs to respond to each situation effectively. The preparation is complete. While they were at the festival, Elena pulled him away from the people. She's become bored with what's happening because it's the same thing that happens every year. And there is nothing new this year. He became thoughtful. The festival is almost over, but nothing's happened. Is it because Elena is with him? This still wants to check other areas. A guard came and he invited Elena to show another events elsewhere. Elaine came along because she think this is better to be fun. Ghislaine think the 2 guards are traitor. They are the traitors of their country. The Regressed Mercenary has a plan. Chapter 4. Elena escort knights, Jamal and Philip. They were the most trusted knights in the feud because they had protected Elena since she was a child. It was known that they were murdered while protecting Elena in his past life. Ghislaine think the 2 guards are traitor. They are the traitor of their country. Elena with Ghislaine came to the place where the event is taking place. When they arrived, they didn't see anything. Elena was wondered because there was nothing there. She asked the guard if he was sure of the place. Because the place is dirty, maybe it's possible to prepare here. He think people will be here soon. Elena stopped laughing at the guard, or else this can perform it in the place like this. Ghislaine observing around as he expected. This way seemed like a simple deserted street at first sight. But looking at the placement of obstacles blocking the escape route, Ghislaine think they must have made preparation in advance. Elena suddenly pulled this to leave. The guard stopped them from leaving because he wanted Elena to watch the show at least since we're here. Because they are already there in the place, and she is indeed not interested. They don't want to watch in this kind of place. Ghislaine, shocked by Elena's strength, when they left, another guard stopped them. It's desperate to wait for them here. And Elena was scared by its look. The two guards are acting strange. Elena noticed that there seems to be something unusual about the two guards today. The guard didn't mean to scare them. It's just that a reasonable request came in. Elena scared this, and suddenly there came. The three mysterious men came. As he expected, the guards' work process is clean. Because they have already brought the young lady to the agreed place. The guard wants to finish their agreement. Frank asked him how much the payment was for doing this. He wondered why the eldest son of the Perdium is also there. The eldest son of the Perdium is not included in his rakes. He just handed him over for free, the eldest son of the Perdium spontaneously to follow here. Not knowing this would be his graveyard. Because of the guards selling to Ghislaine and Elena, he threatened that this would not leave this place alive. The guard confidently said that he would first remember his situation. Because the only thing that can be done now is to run away from this place. They were getting sick and tired of this impoverished land, tormented by the barbarians anyway. He's sure there are plenty of others leaving Perdium besides of them anyway. He was attacked by Ghislaine, and due to his speed, the guard was unable to defend himself. This is shocked by the fast occurrence. Elena and the guard suddenly happened upon what occurred, and Frank looked at him. And the guard who was split into fell in front of Ghislaine. He looked angrily at another guard. He thinks that his companion quickly lost to an amateur like that. And the guard quickly took Elena hostage. Ghislaine's sword quickly pierced the guard's head. The guard fell and Elena hugged Ghislaine as they looked at the fallen guard. And the two companions of Frank not sure if Ghislaine is the eldest son of Perdium. Because they know that this has not yet had a real fight and there is no training for it. Judging by his appearance, it is not mistaken. Although they were taken off guard, he instantly killed two knights. With attacks that used mana, Elena is crying because of what is happening here. Ghislaine hit Elena's neck so that she can sleep temporarily. He laid it down properly on the floor, and when Ghislaine looked at Frank, he thanked him for what eldest son of Perdium had done. Ghislaine is very different from what he heard. They are planning on taking care of those two ourselves. He thinks Ghislaine hiding true skills for a long time. And Ghislaine pulled his sword from the guard's head. He looked at Frank and the two companions with him. He thinks the two beside him are nothing, but the one in the middle exudes the amount of mana on a different level. He have to end this quickly. Ghislaine wants to know who sent this to them. It is not important for the dead man to know this. Ghislaine knew it wouldn't say it. He wants to talk about this dot and it's ready for attack. Should them sever his head, but what the Frank wants is to take Ghislaine's alive and break every limb in his body. He has to writhe in pain for the shape to come out beautiful. Ghislaine was attacked by the companions of a Frank, and Ghislaine got firecracker. He threw this at the two enemies, a firecracker. The fireworks were just a ruse by Ghislaine to focus his opponent's attention on it. He cut it while stabbing his sword into his opponent's head, while one will stab Ghislaine in the side. But this was quickly blocked by Ghislaine using his sword. He grabbed the enemy's sword with his arm, and it spun quickly so that he could get the enemy's sword. At the same time, he quickly cuts off the opponent's head, and Frank quickly attacks Ghislaine at the back. And it was blocked by Ghislaine using the sword he took from the enemy. He was able to block his attack in that position. That's a perfect hidden attack as well. And Ghislaine and Frank continued to exchange attacks. And in the attack of Ghislaine, he cut off the Frank's cigarette pipe and slit his neck. The cigarette pipe fell to the floor. Ghislaine quickly responds to Frank's attack. He's surprised. If he was lacking in mana, he would have been beheaded just now. He survived the strike on his neck. he focused his mana around his neck to reduce the damage. He doesn't know how Ghislaine learned strange swordsmanship at that age, but it's confident that this is where Ghislaine will die. The Regressed Mercenary has a plan. Chapter 5. Frank surmised if he hadn't enhanced his body with superior mana, his head would be rolling on the floor now. He doesn't know how Ghislaine learned strange swordsmanship. The enemy's look indicates that Ghislaine cannot defeat him because his mana is still weak. His will die here. Meanwhile, Ghislaine smiled while defending against its attacks. Frank is worried about Ghislaine's smile while fighting. As they were fighting, Ghislaine's kick hit them in the face. And this indeed splashed away from Ghislaine. And it boasted that such a weak inheritance would not work for him. Suddenly he felt pain. Frank fell to his knees in pain and vomited blood. He was surprised by what happened. The power of his attack was different now. He doesn't know how Ghislaine exceeded his level of strength. He's never expected there to be a true culprit behind Elena's death. So that's it, and Ghislaine intends to use the third core. Frank was surprised by Ghislaine's strong inheritance. And Ghislaine quickly rushed with 2 swords. He's fast. And they exchanged powerful attacks again. Meanwhile, Ghislaine launched an unusually strong attack. This is impossible. His hands are turning numb just from blocking Ghislaine's strikes. No matter how much mana, it usually has a limited effect. Because of the strong attack made by Ghislaine, the sword of Frank developed a crack. He never heard of a method that increases mana so explosively like this. It is as if he has become a different person. And Ghislaine attacked again, and his opponent quickly blocked it with a sword. But its sword was broken and he was hit in the chest. While he was surprised by the cut on his chest, Ghislaine attacks again. And he stabbed it in the chest. He just vomited blood. And Ghislaine crushed this with his arm. While he was holding the neck of the opponent, his sword was stabbed here. And Ghislaine wants to finish their conversation from earlier before. Ghislaine asked again who ordered this, but it doesn't easily give up. Frank put a knife in his left hand. This intends to include the young lady in her death. Frank tried to throw the knife at the young lady, but it was stopped by Ghislaine using strange threads. Ghislaine wanted to make a deal. He warned him not to carry out any more useless attacks. If not, he will bury his sword. These threads were created with mana. That's why it can't move. He wondered how to make this. The threads of Ghislaine made from mana. Ghislaine is sure that there are people like this who can heal him. And so that it would not happen, Ghislaine destroyed its mana core. Frank is scared and Ghislaine destroyed its mana core. It did nothing but scream. His mana is scattering. It thinks it has lost its sanity mind. Because one wrong move and the backflow of mana could cause an explosion and blow this whole area away. That's for the unskilled. But Ghislaine knows how to handle this. Ghislaine is not bluffing and he has accepted his death. Meanwhile, Ghislaine saw a skull to him. And Frank shouted in anger. It was Count Desmond. He is the one who ordered this. He said he needed a pretext to start a war against the Pertium and Degard families, so it was Desmond. In his previous life, this kind of underground work was left for the allied families of the ducal house. How did Duke Delphine find the courage to do such a thing? Without behind the scenes, this is why he wanted to kill Elena. And Ghislaine buried his sword that was stuck here. He was shocked by what Ghislaine did. This is different from what he said earlier. He killed plenty in his time. But he's afraid of dying. Ghislaine laughed at this. He hit Ghislaine's head and said that nothing would change even if he killed him. He already finished the work with the Degard. No one will listen to a punk like Ghislaine. And the Pertium will break because of the war. And because of what was being said, Ghislaine grabbed its face. And Ghislaine informed him that he died in a past life and he was reborn. So it will be different this time, and Ghislaine used his mana core again to finish this. The fireworks began to shine in the sky as the light shines in the area. Ghislaine is the only one left standing in the aftermath of the battle. Elena's two guards are lying sprawled on the ground among the dead. Ghislaine looked at Elena and he dropped the sword. And he looked up. Suddenly, he felt a pain. He was brought to his knees by the pain. Exploding 3 cores wasn't an issue at all back when he was the mercenary king. He looked at the closed building he wanted to destroy. When he entered, he saw 2 bodies. In his previous life, they found another body besides Elena at this place. According to what that guy said earlier, son of the guard, it seems he was killed along with his escort knight. So this is how they silenced them and framed them as Elena's killers. The moment this is revealed, the war will. Ghislaine thought of deleting the evidence. Ghislaine used another firecracker to burn it, and he left with Elena. Meanwhile, there is an unknown person watching them, and it also leaves quickly. The Regressed Mercenary has a plan. Chapter 6. It was a failure. They sent guard knights as well as Frank, the best them have. He counted Eve take care of just one girl? Did he let him guard down because he thought it'd be easy work? It was all because of Ghislaine Perdium. Ghislaine, that useless bastard of the north. He sure is well aware that Ghislaine is a useless knight. He was completely different from the information and rumors they have about him. Ghislaine is the strongest knight with a mana core user, no need to help another knights to kill to guard knights and Frank. After that he leave with Elena. It was as if he was a completely different person, but they already taken care of things with the guard, so it won't be an issue to start the territorial war. He want to give one more chance. He couldn't even find out enough information on one kid. He don't realize how much of a setback this has caused. He couldn't even finish an easy mission and now him want one more chance. The majority gave the order eliminate him. They give it another chance. He will get rid of Ghislaine Perdium. He will make a duel happen naturally. There's someone he have in mind. His name is Kane Loges. He's famous for his strength-based swordsmanship. Despite his young age, he's the epitome of strength. He can confidently tell to them that there is no one in the north who is a match for his strength. Plus, Kane is Ghislaine's cousin, so he's sure it won't be forced to have them meet. But if he fail again, there will be no next time. He won't disappoint them. Perdium Castle Training Hall. While he was training, Purgus stopped him, apologized, and offered him food. Ghislaine attempted to retrieve the sword beside Fergus using a thread of mana. And he was able to do this well. Fergus apologies to Ghislaine because he know that it were so focused on his training. How did he do that just now? He using mana like a string. In his past life he used it all the time, but at his current skill level, he need to implode his core in order to use it like he used to because he's lacking mana. But if he just make one thread to use less mana, he can still use it despite having less mana. He thought he had trained his mana for a long time, but he's never seen something like this. Just a while ago, he didn't use mana, let alone train. How was he able to come up with the idea of using mana like this? He asked if there was anything else he wanted. He just wanted to stop by to say this. He thanked Ghislaine for protecting the young lady. It was just something he should have done, and he invited him to eat. A few days passed after that. The festival was paused. It only made sense since a guard knight tried to traffic the young lady. Everyone thinks he's lying when she say that Ghislaine were the one who saved him. Elena want Ghislaine to should go say something to them. It's fine, they won't believe them anyway. It was Jamal and Philip trying to take him for themselves. Those bastards, she knew they were perverts. Elena lived. He was able to stop the war from happening. But he's sure they won't give up. He can't stop them on his own forever. He needs to grow a military force, and the order is arrive. He have to get more into politics in order to do that, and the food has arrived. He have to get more into politics in order to do that. Bread, a piece of bread. This was surprising because what was given to him was for dessert first. Dessert, he know how their situation is. And there is someone shouting outside, compensate the damages his have caused with the cancellation of the festival. Compensate, compensate, compensate. It is letting the guard out. His people are swimming in money, aren't them? And the guards were able to calm them down. Ghislaine looked out the window to see what was going on outside. Belinda knew they'd do this. Their county is full of merchants who make a living from the profits that come from the festival. It was good enough for them last year, but since the festival was cancelled after just one day, it makes sense that they're upset. The situation in the county is that bad. This isn't good. They'll only get more aggressive if he don't do anything about them. Ghislaine instructed Fergus to send the soldiers to calm them down, but there don't have any. Most of them have been dispatched to the Forest of Monsters post for reconstruction because of the orc raid. Perdium is basically eternally at war because of the barbarians to the north. And on the other side, there's the Forest of Monsters from where monsters can come from at any moment. No money, no soldier. Ghislaine talked Belinda. She's the one that managed her money. Let's use that to calm down those merchants. He want to use that to calm down those merchants, but this is already gone. Did her forget that the Count cut off his allowance because he spent money like water, that he don't have any money at all? He borrowed money, she don't have any. No money, no soldiers, what do they have? Without even the least amount of money, there's nothing he can do. Even if he have knowledge about the future, he going to need money first. Is there no way Richard suddenly appeared? Ghislaine's think indicates that something has happened because he is hurrying to arrive. There's a problem. Kane wishes to see Ghislaine. Kane, meanwhile Scovin, it's against Kane, but he couldn't do it. Kane punched it in the face and in this body, and it can no longer hold, so it fell and Ghislaine arrived at the place. He called it the young master. This has arrived. Kane stunned at the front of Ghislaine. The Regressed Mercenary has a plan. Chapter 6. Finally, the main character makes his appearance. Kane greeted to Ghislaine. He looked at it. He remembered that face. The heir of the Loges County with whom there have an alliance. Kane Loges, he was his only friend at that time. And his enemy of Ghislaine. Ghislaine and Kane met earlier today. Ghislaine didn't know what was happening in the area. They responded to a report of a disturbance at the tavern, and they found Kane there with his escort knight. When they met, he asked if the rumors about young Master Ghislaine were true. So Commander Scovin explained the details of the rumors to him. But suddenly he grabbed his by the mouth. This dare lie be for the heir of Loges, and that was how it happened. He wants to know Ghislaine that happened in this area. He claimed that this, who never trains, took down an orc with his bare hands and dealt with the traitorous escort knights. That's why he received a brief wake-up call to help him regain some perspective. This wouldn't have happened if his didn't lie in the first place. He was this kind of guy. He always treated him as his subordinate. Every time he visited Perdium, he always made a mess. Even after causing all that trouble, no one could say anything because he was basically his subordinate. No one looked down upon Kane, unlike him, who was always had an inferiority complex. His confidence and bold demeanor were praised as qualities befitting of an heir. That's why his was criticized more. He look at this guy. Usually he would have charged at his with this much provocation a while ago Loges County. He ordered to Kane kill Ghislaine. If he succeed in this task, the esteemed one will support the Loges family. It's not a hard task for his to deal with a punk like him. But Ghislaine is also an heir to his land. He's supposed to eliminate him. They can lure Ghislaine into a duel, making it appear if an unfortunate accident occurred. It will simply seem like a trivial dispute between heirs. He will accompany her disguised as an escort knight, orchestrating the situation, so there is no need for concern. This is an uncommon opportunity even for him. To think that he have to kill her own causing Ghislaine. Let they go right away. They want to eliminate him because he has changed. In that case, Ghislaine standing at the front of Kane. Now that they have seen each other, Kane wants to take Ghislaine's that thing that has been preparation for him. Ghislaine does not know what this is saying. He heard the festival's been interrupted. He wants to liven up the mood and have an amazing time. They always been in sync when it comes to things like this, so that's what he means. Right, this guy always had her prepare alcohol and women every time he came here. He granted his request back then because he didn't want to get beaten up, but not anymore. Because of him, Ghislaine had to waste his precious money. Have he forgotten that the Lord had cut off the support because his were wasting so much money? It was here all this time. Cain is source of money. If his remember then her better bring them right now. He can't see him waiting right now. Of course he better bring them right now, but Ghislaine charge him. He was surprised by Ghislaine's demand for him. Ghislaine collecting payment for all the money he's spent, and it must pay him 1,000 gold principal plus interest. But it knows that it won't reach 1,000. All that shouldn't have even cost he 100 gold. That has been done as a gesture of appreciation for the friendship expressed, almost like a symbolic fee. Friendship was nothing but an illusion, nothing more than a one-sided arrangement where one was treated like a mere doormat for far too long. Repayment was the only option. Failure to do so would result in a brutal reckoning. He need a lot of money right now. This is an insult to what Ghislaine said. Ricardo was surprised by what was said, and suddenly it stood up. He's starting to act all bold just because it's been going easy on him. Cain is thinking he seems to believe he actually got stronger just because her spread false rumors saying he's one against a knight. He nothing but a parasite leeching off this land. This is why everyone in the north calls he a scoundrel when all her the supposed heir do is spout empty nonsense, and suddenly he punched Ghislaine. But Ghislaine was quick to avoid Cain's attack. Ricardo and the knight were surprised by what occurred. And when Cain attacked again, he told Ghislaine that he was a little. But Ghislaine dodged again and he was the one who punched Cain in the side. This was surprised by what Ghislaine did. And then Ghislaine attacked again, targeting Cain's face, but this was just defended by Cain. Meanwhile, he suddenly fell to his knees and felt pain from being punched in his side. And the knight approached his companion to find out his condition. Ghislaine knows that his attack was blocked, so he is being stopped from acting. And the knight was angry with Ghislaine for what he did. The people who witnessed what Ghislaine did were shocked. Ghislaine knows that Cain is playing with him. The knight knows that Cain is just acting. They did that to show people that the one who started it all was Ghislaine. It was enough to cause them to justify a duel. It's a rare opportunity to gain such powerful backing. He must make sure to leave a lasting impression this time. He remember the deal. If he succeeds in this task, the esteemed one will support the Lodge's family. Because of Cain's acting, he knew that this was the perfect time to bring down the podium. And he took the gloves from his side, angrily said he was attacked because he just wanted to know the truth. He is about to throw the gloves at Ghislaine and challenged him to a duel. The gloves just went back to his face. Ghislaine challenges him to a fight because it insulted him in front of the people of Perdium and assaulted his knight, tarnishing the dignity of nobility. He doesn't think to deny it. He knows that Ghislaine is stupid, but he didn't know him were stupid enough to dig your own grave. And it accepted the challenge of Ghislaine. He warned Ghislaine that there would be no regrets when he dies. And Ghislaine just smiled at it. Ghislaine called Ricardo. He ordered him to bring all the merchants who are protesting in front of the castle, because they're going to make a lot of money. The Regressed Mercenary has a plan. Chapter 8. The festival was suddenly cancelled. The atmosphere, which had headed up to its peak, suddenly cooled down, leaving behind some tourists who couldn't return out of regret. They must be in a state of incomplete combustion, as they are not able to spend their money or time. In such a situation, if an event were to take place to soothe them, Ghislaine stand at the front of many people in the podium. It's a duel between young Master Cain and Ghislaine. Other people want to bet on Cain, Some people want Ghislaine to be punished because he was a troublemaker before. And the betting time has already started. Many people have bet on Kane. They are sure that Kane will win the fight. He doesn't know how Ghislaine got the courage a sacred duel into a marketplace like this. He would like to clarify that before they start that his sword would not stop even if Ghislaine surrendered. And that must be what he's going after, because many people have gathered. Ghislaine wants to start now. He don't think a proper bet can proceed at this rate. The better's holder said no bet on Duke Ghislaine, and Ghislaine glanced. They believe there is no hope for Ghislaine to win the fight against Kane Loges. Not even a single person placed a bet on the other side, even the marketplace ignoring Ghislaine. They tried to change the conditions in the bet. They want to change how long Ghislaine will last against Kane. But suddenly someone arrived who wanted to bet on Ghislaine. Scoven with Ricardo, they bet on Duke Ghislaine. Ghislaine smiled and added another bet on Ghislaine. Elena with Belinda bet on Ghislaine. The people and Ghislaine were surprised by Elena's betting. The accumulated amount of baits was enough to continue the fight, making he wait for no reason. Ghislaine informed her that he is older than her. It seems strange if Ghislaine is the first to attack, and Ghislaine has drawn his sword, ready for the battle, and he brought it closer. But Kane said it's too late to act like the elder. Kane started the fight. He jumped at the front of Ghislaine, and he attacked using the sword that was blocked by Ghislaine. And because of Ghislaine's bending, Kane thinks that this can no longer defend. But Ghislaine was able to defend his attack on his back. And while Ghislaine is focused on his defense on his back, Kane tried to kick her, but this was avoided by Ghislaine. As expected of young master Kane, Hugh won't even endure one hit from him. Kane smiled at what happened. He was just glanced at by this. Belinda thinks they need to stop the fight because she is worried about Ghislaine, but it's too late. Because it doesn't matter who the opponent is at the moment they decide to fight Kane. The opponent, overwhelmed by that immense power, will become consumed by the thought that there's no chance to counterattack, and they will use up all their energy solely on evasion. In the end, the exhausted opponent, after only dodging for a while, will leave an opening and meet their end. Kane has always won that way. He's slippery as ever. It seems his skill have indeed grown from before. It thought it made sense that he were always good at running away since back in the old days, and they are exchanging attacks. And because of Kane's strong attack, Ghislaine was thrown up high. That surprised the spectators, and Kane's companion thinks that this is the end of Ghislaine. While Ghislaine is upstairs, Kane is waiting to attack him as he falls. He wanted to go easy on him, but he crossed the line. And he attacked so quickly that Kane didn't even notice because of his speed. Kane was shocked by Ghislaine's quick attack. He returned to a stable state by condensing mana into his legs. Ghislaine insulted it by using the sword. He thinks his opponent will be afraid when he shows a little strength. Ghislaine wants to open his eyes. He was angry and attacked Ghislaine again. But Ghislaine moved quickly and jumped, spinning to avoid Kane's attack. Kane did not stop attacking. And when Kane attacks again, Ghislaine just stepped on his sword so that he can stop this. And it was Ghislaine who carried out the attack on him that resulted in many wounds on Kane's body. The people were surprised by what happened. Many people are surprised by the improvement of Ghislaine. They think that Ghislaine is the winner, and they were wrong to bet on Kane. Elena trusts Ghislaine while Belinda is still surprised by what happened. Meanwhile, the knight who ordered Kane is worried. But the wound is shallow, even though he could have made it deeper. Did he do that on purpose? Ghislaine shows such a level of swordsmanship. While he are calm standing in front of Kane, Ghislaine throws his sword. Such a gap in skills will not provide sufficient entertainment. Ghislaine wants to fight without weapons. Kane, shocked by Ghislaine, said he thought he should use this opportunity to educate him today with his bare knuckles. The Regressed Mercenary has a plan. Chapter 9. He educated by Ghislaine. because it has no match against him when it comes to using swordsmanship, so this one just wants to use his bare-handed. They want to fight using their bare-handed. Instead, he bet to more 1,000 gold, twice the initial amount that his win. But this is supposed to be a duel. Kane's companion is already sweating from the ongoing fight. He dares to challenge Kane to a bare-handed fight. He's never thought this see the day, this be thankful for his insanity. Fortune is still on his side. They made another bet again. The event is a bare-handed fight, Ghislaine versus Kane. And so it happened again. Many once more believed that Kane would win in the bare-handed fight against Ghislaine. Ghislaine stands confident he will win at this fight. And Kane laughed at challenging him bare-handed. Kane accepts Ghislaine's challenge to fight without using a weapon. Kane will using the sword against Ghislaine, as he thought he need to knock some sense into him. Kane attacked using the sword, but this can be easily avoided by Ghislaine. Ghislaine punched Kane in the stomach. And this will punch again, that hit Kane's at the chin. Kane was brought to his knees by this punch. Kane was shocked by this attack. It cannot determine what movements Ghislaine is showing. Many people believe that Ghislaine will win. Ghislaine is making this stand up from its kneeling position because he is just starting. He was angry and attacked quickly, and as it attacked, Ghislaine quickly dodged its attacks again. He couldn't even look him straight in the eyes until now. Formerly, it automatically bows down whenever it sees Kane. Ghislaine launched a strong attack again. He need to kill Ghislaine to secure his Loge family's future, but Ghislaine gave it a lot of punches in his face. That resulted in severe swelling of Kane's face. Ghislaine pity on Kane's father, because Count Loge helped Perdium until he was on the verge of death, just because he was friends with his father. But his son had a different idea in his mind. A few years ago, sending more support to Perdium, even if he's friends with Count Perdium, they also having a hard time there. He continues to invest in the drying land. It's like pouring water into a cracked bucket. It hasn't even been a week since his return, but he already going back again to help Perdium, and he didn't want his father to go. Everyone's tried to stop him, but he does not hold back from helping with the Perdium even though it is dangerous. It's just because they're friends, there's no other reason. Suddenly this punch from Ghislaine and Kane closed his eyes. This ought to have educated his enough, and Ghislaine said that maybe what he did was right to help Kane learn. Kane opened his eye and he saw Ghislaine reaching for his hand. And it bowed down. He accepted his defeat. Many people were surprised by everything that happened, including the one who ordered Kane. It was indeed Ghislaine who won the fight. Alana and her companions are happy on result of this fight. Suddenly ran to Kane, who gave him the order. He is angry because Kane quickly accepted his loss. He said that Kane just wasted the trust that was given to him. Kane wanted to left because he was done, that weak child from before. He was stopped because of what Ghislaine said. Ghislaine got everyone's attention to say that Kane's companion volunteered to buy them meat and drinks here. So many people were happy with what Ghislaine said. He's shocked by what he heard from Ghislaine. He did not agree to this, and it is withdraw what Ghislaine said. And Ghislaine grabbed him by the shoulder. This is a reward because of his victory. And he clarifies that this will not be deducted from the bet. And he remembered to add 2,000 gold to the bet they originally set at 1,000 gold. And when this runs, they know what will happen to him. He saw the frightening look of Ghislaine. And he understood what will happen, the castle of Perdium. The next day in Ghislaine's room, Ghislaine opened the box that contained money. He could hire a small mercenary corps with this much money. This isn't a small amount. But it takes a lot of time to grow money. They won't wait for him. To realize the business he have in mind, he have to prepare faster. Beside Ghislaine, Elena and Belinda are smiling, and Ghislaine was surprised when he saw them. Elena wants to know where Ghislaine will use his money. Ghislaine asked what her wanted, but Elena just asking. Belinda answered that it is obvious where this will be used because Amelia's birthday soon. He put up such a show because he wanted to buy her a very expensive present. He's so transparent, he doing all that just to look good to his fiancée. He was surprised to hear that he had a fiancée. The Regressed Mercenary has a plan. Chapter 10. Were shocked to learn that they had a fiancé. There was no need for them to feel embarrassed, because they know that the reason it fought was for its prize to buy an expensive gift for Amelia. They talking about Amelia from Rayfold County, that woman Amelia Rayfold, a noble among nobles, known for her kind nature and action towards everyone, regardless of status, gaining the deep support of the people in her territory. However, she would later incite rebellion and come to be known as the Witch of the North. And she joined hands with the Delphine Duchy to drive the final nail into Perdium's downfall, a traitor. Ghislaine asked Belinda when his father returning. It's not clear if it will be back next week. A week it should be enough. Ghislaine want to visiting Rayfold County, even if it is not her birthday yet. Their reason was to obtain money from it. Lady Amelia from Rayfold County. Lady Amelia gave her shoes to the young girl beggar. The girl couldn't believe it. If anyone to walk barefooted on her land, it should be her. She also provided food and shelter for young girl beggar. Indeed, his guard acted immediately, and many people thanked for the help that was provided. Rayfold County Amelia's garden, Amelia's escort Knight Burneth. He praised this for the good it has done today. He had always demanded unwavering obedience from the people within his territory. But the common folk will always follow the one who keeps them warm and well-fed. With this she have won the people's hearts. This will definitely prove to be favorable in her future successor competition. Amelia suddenly kicked her in the face. She wants to know what happened in the duel against the finest sword of the North. He apologizes to her. If he stands victorious, people may begin to pay attention to him. It is not yet the time to reveal her claws, because his blade is for him. It should be because there's invested a lot of money to raise him. He cannot allow to be a weak, and it asked her the merchants are. If she talking about the Arctium Merchants Guild, her need not worrying. All the materials needed to rebuild the Forest of Beasts outpost, which was recently half destroyed by orc attacks in Perdium, are being sourced through their merchant guild. In effect, they are reclaiming the annual support funds that Count Rayfold allocates to Perdium. Moreover, they are recruiting all the soldiers and knights leaving Perdium. Many of them are well-trained from battles against the barbarian tribes, making them excellent quality. She said before maintain the appearance of an ordinary merchant guild be thorough. There cannot let them true identity be exposed until they fully build up them strength. Suddenly, a man from their county arrived, and this was immediately blocked by Burneth as to why it went without permission. He just received the news from the gate young Lord Ghislaine Perdium has come to visit. Amelia wondered why he went there. He said that he had something to discuss about the merchant guild. Visitor's room, Ghislaine and Amelia met. He greeted Amelia. This is quite unpleasant. His came without any prior notification. He's not yet learned etiquette or manners. Since this person's birthday is coming soon, Ghislaine wants to give a gift to her. He picked one up from the merchant guild up ahead, and the fragrance is quite nice. He planned to buy flowers from there from now on. Her asked for the name again, the Arctium Merchant Guild he believe. She not sure way this trying to say, now that she received this gift, she want to go. Ghislaine called her by her name, Amelia Rayfold, and he had her sit down. Amelia surprised at what Ghislaine said. What is this pressure? From the very guy who used to squirm, barely able to speak whenever he stood in front of her. He wants straight to the point. He needs some money right now. And he requested 10,000 gold, and she was surprised it. He visiting out of nowhere, and he asking for such a large sum from his fiancée. Should she take it as the will of Count Perdium? His father has nothing to do with this. Just give this to Ghislaine. And Ghislaine knows that there is no planning to marry her. This example was made by Amelia's escort knight. If she become the lord of this land, that might be more than possible. But before that, if word about she secretly building up her power spreads in Rayfold, where the fight for succession is fierce, and Amelia's cat got angry here. Young Lord Ghislaine, he shouldn't say something like that, not even as a joke. She didn't have to worry because Ghislaine could hide it. He might not keep those words if he leave this room empty-handed. But it was not bothered by what Ghislaine said. The door opened and Burnif entered the room. They haven't seen each other for quite a while, including Ghislaine. Burnip, he's the guy who has always stayed by Amelia's side, a skilled individual who possesses the potential to be compared to the finest sword of the North at the time. Ghislaine said if he die here, a war may break out. They're sure them can handle that. It is brave of them to be able to. Because a sudden ruffian barged in caused chaos and was killed by the hand of the escort knight. That's what the world will hear about Ghislaine's demise. Amelia ordered him to kill Ghislaine, and it immediately followed her orders. If that's how he wants to play, then Ghislaine had no choice but to get a little serious.